Welcome to Forgotten by Time, where we talk about some forgotten history in our home state, South Carolina, that you may not have known that happened. I'm your host, Dylan Campbell,
And I'm Jake Mergle.
and have you ever heard about the Salem witch trials?
Not before this episode.
You never heard of the Salem witch trials before this episode?
I mean, we talked about it briefly.
Yeah. So we had our own kind of crazy witch trial in South Carolina in Winsboro. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I'm guessing you didn't know that before any of this.
Oh, I knew about I thought you were talking about the other part.
Oh, no.
My fault.
No, you're all good. So you have heard of the Salem witch trials. Okay.
I'm actually related to someone who was executed.
Really?
Yeah, Rebecca Nurse.
Are you? That is crazy. You never told me that. You were related to one of the witches?
Yeah.
Up top, man. Hold up. That's crazy. I couldn't. How do you know that?
My mom told me.
Oh, okay. So it's just somewhere down the family tree. Or I guess I'm not. I don't know. That's one crazy family tree. But.
Oh.
Imagine being in the 1700s in your hometown of Winsboro, South Carolina, and then people were saying that their cows were disappearing and how they were being mutilated and how people were going crazy overnight, it seems like, with all these strange occurrences. What would you blame it on?
Satan.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Pretty much. They were like, Satan is taking control over these people. And they had their own witch trials, so that's what we are going to be talking about in today's episode is Forgotten Legend in South Carolina. So, do you want to... Alright. These trials were a lot less known than the infamous Salem witch trials, but they were still just as crazy. To give context, the Salem witch trials were arguably one of the best instances of paranormal spreading as anyone could be accused of witchcraft. Nobody was safe, and most people weren't represented equally. So that's how these townsfolk fell in Winsboro back then.
And in the 1700s, the Winsboro was screaming witchcraft and accusing 4 people of levitating cows and possessing people. The main witch and suspect was Mary Engelman. Join us as we talk about this crazy local legend.
Mary Engelman, that's a last name. That's a cool last name. Engelman. And do you think she started Ingles, that grocery store?
That would be ironic.
I don't know. What? So you think you would blame it on Satan, the devil? That's what I would blame it on too. I mean, I don't know what else would do all this besides, I guess, a crazy person like Mary Engelman that has the devil put on her. But
yep. I believe this devil can possess people to do awful things.
Yeah, me too. I don't know, but I also think that with the Spirit of God we can go far away. But anyways, can you start us off right there?
Yeah. So all the way back yonder in the late 1700s, in a small town called Winsboro, they were experiencing strange problems with their cattle. Farmers were saying someone or something was killing all their cows. Townsfolk were also saying that spouses had the devil in them. And these two simultaneous problems on witchcraft, we talk about what it would be like.
So what do you think? If you were just a husband that just got angry one day and then got accused of witchcraft, what would be if you...
My defense would be prove it.
Be like, you got some evidence? You got a picture of me mixing up a potion or something?
Because I ain't gonna cut it.
I don't know what I would... Because back in the 1700s, what would it even be like? It would... You, Sheriff, may have got the devil in you. Get out of me house. That's what the wife would be saying, something like that.
Right, and they had no laws saying, like, you have to necessarily have evidence of it actually happening, because they didn't have freedom of information laws, so...
Yeah. I don't know. The 1700s was a crazy time, because they also, not only did they have witchcraft in South Carolina, we also had diseases.
Right.
We had,
the war coming up.
Yeah, the war.
And then, like, 70 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad time. And then even worse, slavery was going on
Right.
back then, really bad down there. I don't know. The South was not a great time.
No.
The South was not a great place in America, to be honest. But
But hey, we make up for it now.
yeah, we're better now. But including Mary, there was 3 other convicted of witchcraft, but Mary was the worst of them all. One night, apparently, a farmer said Mary brutally killed a cow. So I don't know if she was doing it in some form of witchcraft thing, voodoo, all
Some
that.
kind of sacrifice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But according to an account by Faye Colum Fairley, described about a relative named Mary Engelman, who was 78 when she was accused of the knowledge of plagues that had not yet been discovered, and people's animals were getting sick with someone needed to be held responsible for it. So apparently she held the knowledge of plagues that had not been discovered. And then they did, after the 1700s, were there any plagues after that besides COVID-19?
None that I can exactly think of, but other than that, 200 years later with the Spanish flu.
Yeah. When was the Black Plague, the Black Death?
That was in like the 1300s.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was way off there.
No, you're good.
But I don't know. What do you think? You think of what everyone's saying about Mary, do you think she had the devil in her that night?
No, not really.
So what do you think? What's your hot take on this whole thing?
I mean, really, I don't really know other than just don't let the devil tell you to do bad things.
Never,
Just
no.
drown him out, pray, read your Bibles. I don't know if anyone here listening is extremely religious, but if you aren't, please just, go try to give it a shot.
Or pray every night. That's what I do. I
Yeah.
pray every night before I go to bed, just for my fallen family members.
Right.
But I don't know. I think Mary was somebody crazy. If there was a whole town saying she was crazy, then she had to be doing something bad. You know what I mean?
Because, unless the whole town was corrupted.
Maybe. And I don't
Corrupt officials.
Maybe she had something on those corrupt officials and they just wanted her gone.
Right.
And they were blackmailing her with witchcraft. That's a crazy idea.
Who knows?
That is a crazy idea. I haven't thought of it that way. I don't know. But you want to start us off right here?
Sure. First was Mary. She was thought to have an uncanny ability to heal people's sickness. One testimony claimed that Mary was turned into a black panther, a deer. Others claimed she had made cows levitate.
Hold up. We just need one of these real quick.
Even her own son accused her of witchcraft.
Wow. Okay.
Her own son, her flesh and blood, accused her. Oh my goodness. He claimed that she turned him into a horse.
Okay. that's a lot to unpack right there. So she claims that Mary can turn into a black panther and a deer.
Right.
Why? Okay. Why? Those are 2 completely different animals.
One's
a deer.
Predator, the other one's a prey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. Those are 2 completely opposite animals. And Black Panther is one of my favorite animals, but now I'm a little bit not liking it. But even her own son, that's crazy. Even her own son was blaming her of doing these awful things. That's how you know she was...
Either something was going on or that son got paid off.
He got a healthy paycheck for that one. Oh, they had to endure the town had to endure this for a good little bit. And what does this say?
Oh,
okay.
I forgot to add that.
The
Farmers, by the way, if they were accused, they were in for an awful, painful death. First, they were hung to the ceiling and then severely beaten. They had to endure this to the near point of death, where they were taken down, gagged, and their feet bound and put in fire until their soles of their feet popped off.
I'm sorry, I want to keep reading, but that's disgusting. I hate that torture was a thing. And I
Right.
hate that we needed that or we did that. But as for Mary, she escaped all this, but she was knocked down and had she was knocked down and had a heavy log placed on her neck. So they finally ended her reign of terror.
Right.
I guess that's one way to do it for a witch. Usually they just burn them like in
Also, from what I heard, it wasn't for this, but like for some witch trials, they'd like throw them underwater, and if they floated, I think it was they were a witch or something.
Yeah. I remember. Did you ever watch Monty Python? Those movies?
No.
Oh, those are, I don't know. Those are good. It has a funny skit about witches in it. It's a funny movie. But fortunately for the guy who did this, was arrested, but he was fined £5, which
Or
is
$6.41. So, placing a heavy log on your neck can pay a little bit of gas.
a little
A little bit less than gas now.
Almost 2 gallons.
I know they didn't have cars back then, but
Yeah.
could have used that for some gas.
Use it for hay.
Yeah.
Horses. Mary was laid to rest in Fairfield County. Although there are rumors that she is still waiting for justice 200 years later. Her house is still standing. I think it's abandoned, so I don't know who owns it, but her house is still standing. Mary Inglewoods, or whatever her last name is, in Winsboro, South Carolina. One of the OG witches. Well, no, the Salem witch trials were the OG, and that's what we'll talk about now.
Transition.
So this was almost a full 300 years?
About, yeah. I mean, the witch trials took place in what? Our South Carolina one was what?
The 1700s, and then
This was about 100 years earlier,
yeah, okay.
roughly.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I was just talking, that was 400 years ago these days. I wonder how much the stories of what really happened has gotten changed over time.
Right, because you know how people like to make the stories their own.
Yeah, and escalate it more to make it more interesting.
Yeah,
and
I mean-
all this.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you want to start us off right here?
Sure. For this next segment, we will be discussing this infamous Salem witch trials and compare it to the previous segment. In these, the witch trials, they weren't just accusations. It was bloody and people were suffering from it. One man was pressed to death with heavy stones, and others were hung and set on fire. But let's talk about why these bloody executions happened.
So, just like in the town of Winsboro, but close to 100 years before that, they had a town called Salem had their own witchcraft trials, and these are a lot more famous. I think everybody's heard of these.
And I don't know if this was on live, but I told him about that movie, The Crucible.
Oh, yeah,
which
you
was
were.
such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it. I watched the trailer, and I'm gonna watch it here soon. I do need to watch it because I don't know. I love horror movies. This is one of the only movies I like. I don't really like movies that much for some reason.
I mean, the most recent movie I went to see was the Twister one.
Yeah, you told me about that. Was that good?
Yes, but I have no clue what they see in that cowboy guy. He wasn't. I mean, as a straight man myself,
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Oh no.
But hey, I could be wrong.
Anyways, in the late 1600s actually, in a town called Salem, they were accusing several women and men of witchcraft with dealing with the devil. Although most of it was propped by fear of being tired and executed, people would pass the blame to anybody. So I guess they were just tired of the fear of all the brutal torture from just like
Right.
stealing a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
And they were crazy back then.
I mean, you could have healed your neighbor's fever, and you could have been accused for it. Like, oh, you healed your neighbor from what? I don't know, hay fever. You're a witch.
She made Tylenol? Kill her!
By no means are we like making this into like a joking manner. This is serious.
Yeah, it is very serious.
But like, I feel like that's how we should.
And you're personally connected to it. That is why
Right.
it's so serious right now. Because a long time ago in the 1600s, one of your family was a witch or accused of it. And I think that's bragging rights.
I know you have history right here.
That is bragging rights. That's so cool.
Guys, I'm related to a witch.
Oh my god. But anyways, you want to start us
At
off
the
with-
time, evidence was simply he said, she said, as one of my favorite bands would put it, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
So it would be difficult to prove or disprove the accusations. Like, how would you prove that they're not unless you could take a picture of it?
Yeah.
Because the human, we're flawed.
Yeah.
We don't see things perfectly. Same with music. We don't hear everything perfectly. So anyone can be accused and not be able to properly defend yourself. With this, I would like to say, if you haven't seen The Crucible yet, go watch it. Great movie. But anyway, the witch trials were just fear-inducing, paranoia. The fact that anyone could be accused has just made it worse.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of corruption with it, which...
I remember reading something, I think in school they taught us about the Salem witch trials.
Right.
Because I remember reading about how there was also children involved with it.
Oh, yeah.
About how there were, I don't know, how
Yeah.
they, did they ever, I'm going to look it up actually.
Okay.
I'm going to see if they ever hurt any children inside the Salem witch trial, because Salem witch...
Give him a second. We're just doing this as a little segment.
Yeah. Did kids.
What?
I didn't know. Okay. Ooh, okay. So
25.
5 innocent women, men, and children were killed in the Salem witch trial.
25 people. That's
That-
almost the size of like a large classroom.
Exactly.
Like
And
he took out the whole class.
and then not only is it just one person, it's a whole family of lives that are also
Right.
devastated until they die. You know what I mean?
Hey, who knows? I can't remember if it was Rebecca Nurse was actually. Yeah, she was. So hey, one of them was one of my great relatives.
Yeah.
So I
I bet if we go on the list, we could find them. But
Yeah.
we should have done the research more before the.
I mean, we
podcast.
researched pretty well, but yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. But let me check one more thing. Huh. Well, it's been fun. I think we've talked all about pretty much what's happening
Well,
in
I don't.
Winsboro.
Did we talk about like comparing it between the others?
Oh yeah, okay.
I think that was the main point of the segment.
Yeah, okay. That's my fault, y'all.
No, you're good.
Okay, so what set these apart from the Winsboro, South Carolina trials?
I feel like not just time. Time definitely would have separated it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have to have at least heard about the Salem witch trials over here in
Yeah.
South Carolina. So think, oh my gosh, maybe it's gonna happen again. And hey, maybe
hope
we should, get some laws passing to, take care of corrupt officials who could have murdered innocent people.
Real. Because that stuff always will be going on, always has and always will be. Corrupt officials taking
Right.
what they want instead of giving what the need of the people need.
Right.
I don't know.
They want to line their pockets, but they don't really care about us people,
Yeah, exactly.
common folk.
I don't know. And when us common folk make up the majority of the whole world. You know what I
Right,
mean?
because the elite 1%.
Yeah, the 1%.
Hey, I mean, I'm trying to join their club, but
For real. Hey, you better not become snobby once you do, though.
I won't.
You can't let money change you.
I
That's the
won't.
one
You got to
thing.
keep your heart.
Yeah. So another way that these two were different is in Salem it was a lot more bloody. In the Winsboro, South Carolina trials, we only had about 2 people to 3 people
Yeah.
get executed from the witch trials, but Salem,
Yeah,
I
it
still have
had,
the
like,
website
what?
pulled up right here. It said it led to
25.
innocent women, men, and children.
So that's like at least 5 times as many in Salem.
And I don't know. This is a lot of devastated families. But I mean, still in Winsboro, it still left 3 families devastated. I don't know if Mary Inglewood. I don't know if her family was devastated because apparently the son was saying she'd turn him into a horse and all that.
Yeah.
But
Well, hey, I always like to try to end it with a positive message.
Yeah.
At least the families of the trials were compensated.
yeah,
So that's at least a little bit of hope.
it's a little something, a little bit. But I don't know. They were both different and both the same at the same time, just for the obvious reasons of
Witch trials.
witch trials and I don't know, the accusations and paranoia of being accused, because anybody was being accused. Doctors.
Yeah. Like we said earlier, you could have found Tylenol and you would have been called a witch.
Yeah, imagine time traveling now from like having all of our modern medicine these days and then go back to the 1700s.
Oh, we wouldn't have made it 10 minutes. They would have said, "You're a witch."
We have Apple Watches.
We got designer clothes.
I think even a lighter would freak them out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Something that we take for granted.
Tank. Oh my god.
Yes.
Imagine taking a tank in the 1600s.
You could have any country you want.
Exactly. Easy.
What are they gonna do?
Nothing.
It's a freaking
We
tank.
got bow and arrows. And we got a tank.
No, by no means are we promoting violence.
No, not at all.
But we were just saying it'd be kind of funny to,
Yeah.
in a hypothetical
If
stance.
an apocalyptic dystopian world, you know?
Right, like 1984.
In New York.
Well, anyways, it's been fun.
It has
Thank you
been.
guys so much for listening. Remember to be kind to one another. God bless you all. Goodbye.
All right, goodbye. Till next time.